We spent 3 weeks driving across Greece to see if a budget trip is still possible. And what we found was shocking. From €4 meals to getting hit with a €32 toll in one single day. We experienced the best and the worst of the Greek road trip. This is everything we've learned about the Peloponnese and Northern Greece, including the one mistake that cost us a parking ticket because we couldn't read Greek. We arrived in Athens after being on a cruise ship around the Greek islands and realised instantly driving here is madness. Traffic everywhere, no parking, crazy streets. So we decided we weren't going to start with the car, we would walk. So we walked, we caught the train. We even did an electric bike tour. It was brilliant and surprisingly cheap. And something extra special that we love to do, we went and did Greek dance lessons. But I booked them not realising how far it was going to be from accommodation. The Uber was going to cost a fortune. I nearly cancelled, but then we figured out the train system instead. 11 stops and a 1 kilometre walk following that phone. We felt pretty proud of ourselves actually. And we got there on time and back and we learned how to dance Greek. We picked up the car, a brand new Suzuki Swift hybrid, on the Monday. So we had the weekend in Greece and it was very economical, thank goodness. But here's one tip. The driver must have the credit card in their name. We didn't. So we paid extra to swap the names around. That's a lesson to learn. And one thing we really appreciated was that the rental company let us park the car outside the premises on the street for 2 days until we were ready to start the road trip. No charge, no fuss, just a really kind service. Nafplio was our first stop, absolutely gorgeous. We climbed the castle, wandered the old town and enjoyed the coast. 2 nights here was perfect and we found that 2 nights was great at most of our spots. From there we moved on to Monemvasia, which is down the coast. It was quite a drive over the mountains, an interesting drive, herds of goats. Monemvasia is the Mont Saint-Michel of Greece. Stunning. We spent the day hiking the island and exploring the old fortress. So, from here we went sideways across to Mystras. Mystras is fascinating. Ruins have been built up the side of a mountain. Then on to Methoni, this beautiful seaside castle, gorgeous swimming, beautiful coastline. We just loved it. Olympia was very busy, especially with cruise ships, buses arriving, but we still loved it. The history is what really attracts us, but it's really quite hard to understand when you're trying to read all the information. So we watched YouTube videos each evening about the ruins, what we'd seen. We filled in the gaps and made the whole experience so much richer. After leaving Olympia, we wandered up the coast and stayed at a town called Paga and we spent 2 days swimming and hiking. It was just wonderful. From here, Paga, after 2 days there, we went towards the border of Albania and stayed up in the mountains at a town called Konitsa. Konitsa was an experience. We stayed in a very basic family B&B. Cold water in the kitchen, a Bunsen burner, 2 cups, 2 plates, no cereal bowls, and accommodation for 8 people. I went there thinking there was a full kitchen and I was going to cook dinner. That went out the door pretty quickly. But the family were absolutely lovely. The mother didn't speak English, but she hugged me like we'd known each other forever. Us old girls seem to hang together quite well. We understand each other. I sat her down with her daughter, who spoke broken English, and showed her my Airbnb video. and gave her tips on how to set up a B&B and what guests expect. She was so grateful. I hope she took the advice on, as you want to see them do well and make a success of their B&B. While we were staying there, the 2 nights, during the next day, we did a big hike up Papingo. Papingo hike was especially interesting. On the way up, we were passed by 7 mules loaded with supplies for guests staying at the mountain refuge. It was obviously the most economical way to get everything up there, and incredible to see them working their way up the track so calmly compared to us huffing and puffing them. I wanted to grab onto their tail and just let them drag us up. That would have been a bit cheeky. We weren't actually planning to walk so far, but once we got near the top, we could see the refuge in the distance, and of course we had to go and have a look, and it was worth it. We sat on top of the mountain, absolutely worn out, enjoying hot chocolate and a toasty before heading back down. All in all, it was 4 hours up and 3 hours down. We were pretty tired at the end of all that. The next day we trundled off to Meteora. That was absolutely mind-blowing. Monasteries perched on the top of vertical cliffs. How did they do it? And from there we went down to Delphi, which was another highlight. Old ruins, but basically very busy. The big reason that places like Meteora and Delphi are so busy is that they're close to Athens for people to do them as day trips. Bus tours, cruise excursions, and independent travellers all funnel in to spots because they're easy to reach. By comparison, Monemvasia and Nafplio are further away and in the opposite direction, so they felt so much calmer, more relaxed, less crowded, just how we like it. So, do you want to know what did we learn on our 3-week Greek road trip? Some country roads are just one lane. Be aware and have your wits about you. Shoulder season weather is perfect. Not too hot, and it still can run cold in the mountain weather and heavy rain. Tolls add up. You may get tolls every 30 minutes on the highway. Not unusual. Lidl is your best friend when it comes to groceries. Cheap wine and cheap ouzo. Euros are cheap and delicious. Our go-to food, beautiful. We carried a chili bag with ice packs to keep food cold, even milk. But one thing you need to make sure, a sudden break can send the milk upside down on the floor, and that's no fun to clean up. People are very friendly. Most speak English, especially if they want to sell you something. After all those lessons from being on the road, there's one thing we kept coming back to, the food. Well, who doesn't come back to the food? And Greek food was beautiful. We fell in love with the gyros in Greece. I think that's how you say it. Cheap, tasty, and everywhere. And now, back home, I make my own Kiwi version with kuma chips, of course. Now, let's talk money. The full cost of the entire 21-day road trip. Greek motorways are expensive. One day we paid 32 euros, as I said, including crossing the Anterio Bridge. The tolls come along about every 30 minutes. And yes, we got a parking ticket because we couldn't read Greek. Thankfully, the information ladies rescued us and took us straight to pay the 30 euro fine. The rental company was delighted. Apparently, most people don't pay and end up being charged a lot more later. Fuel was around $2 a litre, about $3.90 New Zealand. But our hybrid was so economical, getting roughly 20 kilometres to the litre. Food was good value thanks to Lidl, our favourite supermarket, and simple meals. Accommodation varied a lot. Athens was definitely more expensive, but once we got into the smaller towns, especially being in the shoulder season, prices were really reasonable. A nice hotel with a balcony and basic facilities cost between 110 and 160 New Zealand dollars per night, remembering that New Zealand dollar is about half of what the euro is, or double, I should say. So that 110 is only about 55 euro. Our car rental was $71 per day. We booked it 8 months ahead and got a good deal. Fuel came to about $450 and food around about $1,200. All up, the total cost for 21 days was, a drum roll, 7,000 New Zealand dollars, or about $350 per day for two of us. It actually beats a bus tour, which we wondered about before I even made the bookings. The bus tour averages out at about $350 per person per day, and that's for 10 days. All up, the total cost for 21 days was $7,000 approximately. That works out to be $350 per day for the two of us. Whereas a bus tour would be $350 for one person. So our road trip was actually $166 per person, 10 days versus 21 days. So we actually got 11 more days of holiday than would have for the same money if we'd gone on a bus. To put this in perspective, a typical 10-day Greek bus tour costs $3,500 per person. Do the maths on that. For the same price, it costs for two people to spend 10 days on a bus tour. The two of us explored Greece for 3 weeks, 21 days. We got double the time, double the people, and total freedom for the exact same price. That is the power of travelling on the cheap and just being a little bit brave. At times we don't feel that brave, but we just put our first foot forward, hop in the driver's seat, and we're off, and it all comes together. Of course, this way of travel isn't for everyone. We keep things simple and affordable because we want our dollars to stretch as far as possible. Most people prefer a more detailed, structured itinerary, and I absolutely understand that. But this style suits us. By travelling on the cheap, instead of having a 3-week luxury holiday in Greece, we ended up with a 10-week holiday across the Caribbean, the Atlantic, the Greek islands, and Dubai. Greece was one of our favourite road trips. Beautiful, affordable, and in many ways full of surprises. In the next video, I'm going to tell you what happened when we tried to fly through Dubai just to get home and everything went wrong. Hey, thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this 3-week adventure. And don't forget to subscribe. The same old, especially if you want to hear about our Dubai disaster story. Ciao for now. See you